the never-ending controversy of Hellena Taylor and her not getting to be the voice actor for Bayonetta in Bayonetta 3. When we last left it, Bloomberg and Jason Schreier did an article basically refuting what she said, that she was offered $4,000, $4,000 total for the role. And
that was a cameo role to boot as the final offer.
Yes, what the story basically said, that she was offered 15 to 20,000, I think, was the amount total for about 5 sessions, which is about 3 to 4,000 for each session. And she countered with 6 figures in residuals, and negotiations fell apart, so they went to Jennifer Hale. Platinum Games then came back and said, "Would you like to do some extra lines, just so you can be part of it still, and we'll pay you for 1 session for 4,000." And she used that as the litmus to say that she got only 4,000 base pay to do the game series. So she basically lied by omission, and she later confirmed it while trying to still act like people were besmirching her good name in a tweet.
And this happened on Sunday night of all things.
Yeah, it was real weird. This woman has foot and mouth syndrome, the likes of which I have rarely seen in this situation. Every time she opens her mouth, she does more damage to herself, is what it really feels like. Because she also, I think she continued to attack Jennifer Hale and attack Platinum Games. And then she also attacked Jason Schreier, saying that he's pretty much in the pocket of Platinum Games and Nintendo. So basically, it was basic, they're all against me. They're taking money on the side. They're honest actors. Don't listen to them. Just a common political take, really, nowadays, unfortunately. But yeah, that was basically it with Hellena Taylor on this. What were your thoughts on what?
As far as my thoughts, it was kind of funny. Just her sort of basically kind of trying to throw Jason Schreier under the bus with his sort of search for the truth on this whole story, and pretty much just with her. Especially with the whole attack of just he's in the pocket of big corporate gaming. This is his job to smear me and stuff like that. And it's kind of funny for her to use that approach, because anyone who's familiar with Jason Schreier, even from his days back when he was on Kotaku and everything, he's always been a traditional investigative reporter. Right. He will dive into the facts, and he will report on the facts no matter if they go against the narrative or not, because he feels that it is his job to present the truth no matter how good or bad it may be, and leave it up to the reader to come to their own conclusions on what the reporting brings out. And even with that said, just if you look at his career on some of the investigative pieces he's written, he's mostly come out against really egregiously abusive organizations. I mean, He came out against Rockstar when Rockstar was basically crunching their people to death for Grand Theft Auto 5. So he's no stranger to basically just telling the truth as it is, and even getting blacklisted by some outlets as kind of a badge of honor for him. So just he's no one that would be afraid to just take one on the chin to say, "Hey, I told the truth, and that's what I'm here to do," even if it does, result in him losing access to review copies of a game or whatever. Just he's not going to pull any punches. And for her to kind of use the line of, "Well, he's in the pocket of big gaming," it's just like, well, no, you obviously aren't familiar with this concept of rapport, because Jason has built quite a good rapport on just reporting in general. So a lot of people are more inclined to trust him because he's earned the trust.
Right. And if you look at some of his most popular and his most well covered and talked about articles, it's about abuse in the workplace and staff who are underpaid and overworked. That's I think, in my opinion, that's the ones that get him the most traction. Or even the sexual harassment stuff that came out about Activision. I think he did that as well. So if you really want to say he has an agenda, I would say, if anything, his agenda is pro-worker than anything else, which I think added to the credibility of when he mentioned that, yeah, she's lying, because if you wanted to believe that he has an agenda, my opinion was his agenda is pro-worker, and that if he really had a quote-unquote agenda about this, he would have shut up when he had the information that Hellena Taylor was lying and just let it pass, because it would hurt the people up top. That's, if he had any type of agenda, I think that would have been it. But he doesn't, and he reported it as is. And the other thing that annoys me with this is, and you know what, I understand that some people just do not want to believe reporters from big newspapers and big sites, because they do spin the truth. They do lie. It does happen. But on the other hand, like, you can't just blanket statement that for every reporter. Like, the ones that have earned it, yeah, go ahead. Don't believe them. I understand that. But in this case with Jason Schreier, I was very inclined to believe it, because he hasn't really said anything or done anything that has been noticed to be false. Like, he's been pretty much a straight shooter the entire time. So I don't like him, like, personality-wise. I'm not a fan. But as a writer and as a reporter, he's excellent. You can't deny that. So, like, that's the thing I got out of, is that these people who are still defending Hellena Taylor, even though she clearly lied, and she eventually proved it to everyone that she did lie throughout the entire time, and that she was being very malicious and had an agenda throughout the entire time, that they still are willing to defend her or saying, oh, you can't believe what Jason Schreier says because, you know, he just believed what Platinum said. I'm like, no, he got the papers. He said in the article, the papers are there. And because they're under an NDA, he can't reveal them. So what are you going to do at that point?
And it's kind of funny because pretty much now the onus is literally on Hellena Taylor. And if she wanted to just double down on proving she's right, there's one way she could easily do it. But we all know the documents that she would reveal wouldn't put the narrative in her favor, which is just produce the contracts. She's already broken the NDA by speaking about this. Just the only thing left is to, show us the documents. If you're so hard up on this whole thing that, just you claim that you just want it to blow over and just forget about Bayonetta in general, but yet also you're making a huge fuss about it, one way to vindicate yourself, if you so believe it, which is produce the docs. And with her not being willing to produce the docs and using the tried and true way to shoot yourself in the foot, which is to say, just trust me, bro.
Yeah.
Not really a good way to make your case.
No, it's not. And at this point, she's hurting her own cause at this point. I honestly think at the end of all this, she just wanted to inflict maximum harm. And I believe this 1,000%. This was not a means of workers' rights and trying to get good pay. She was just vindictive and wanted to cause the maximum amount of harm that she could when she didn't get the pay she wanted. And we talked about this last week, and I'll say it again. When it comes to voice acting, I mean, in gaming, it's a luxury. It's not necessary. It really isn't. with the exception of like overly cinematic games, you could have Bayonetta 3 without voice acting. You could just have like to move the story along, to have high res, very well textured photos with text boxes, and it would serve the purpose just fine, because it's the gameplay that matters. And you can have just a random developer do grunts and ha and stuff like that for the voice acting when it comes to the attacks. Like, you can do that no problem. The fact that she felt, number one, she felt she deserved it, and number two, that no one should play that because she is Bayonetta, is just like that was the other thing. I was like, okay, lady, it was bordering on delusion to a certain extent. I think that she was acting that way.
Yeah, and even playing devil's advocate on the whole workers' rights angle and trying to fight for voice actor pay, she did more damage to that than anything. That's because, right. Of course, now the onus is going to be so hard on the next person who has a legitimate grievance against maybe something going on with just the voice acting industry. And unfortunately, just if people have learned anything from this event, they're going to demand so much more proof. It's just going to be okay, well, we're not going to repeat what happened with Hellena Taylor. Do you have the proof? And Unfortunately for this person, they're probably going to end up clamming up and going, well, I do, but the minute I produce it, I'm going to break NDA and I'm probably going to be blackballed forever.
Right.
And it's just going to be a real goddamn shame. And just, it's just really, really, really freaking sad. And, that's kind of what I take out of it from anyone who's trying to argue, but Helena's trying to make a point about, workers' rights and how voice actors are underpaid. Well, big problem there, genius. Just, she completely botched the delivery on this whole thing by lying by omission and, making this fight all about herself. This doesn't help the cause. It makes things worse.
Right. Like like you said, she essentially made it much harder for the next person to speak out, because then they're going to have to put themselves in legal jeopardy in order to do it. And she basically took everyone's goodwill for granted and destroyed any chance of somebody else making progress in this. And that's pretty bad. And it's all because she just wanted to be vindictive. Like, I honestly refuse to believe now that she was trying to be a moral crusader on this. She just wanted to hurt the game and hurt the sales. That's all she wanted to do. She just wanted revenge. Because if she was really worried about getting the job, she should have talked about this much sooner. Like, much sooner. To the point where if there was enough of a stink, then maybe Platinum Games would cave and go, okay, fine, we did record this voice actor. We already recorded the voice actor, but we'll bring you back on for something, and we'll pay you pretty well. You could have had that, but she didn't. She waited for the most inopportune time for Platinum Games for the game to release, to then just apply maximum hurt. And I just do not feel sorry for this woman. I really do not. Like, in the beginning, I was like, that sucks if it's true, but I got questions. And now I'm like, okay, you know what? Anything that could have made me feel sympathy for you, I no longer have it. Like, you've just wasted that. And on top of that, she just hurt the quote-unquote cause that she was trying to champion. Wild
conclusion to this whole saga and everything. And honestly, just, it's been kind of a Streisand effect, because today the review embargo broke for Bayonetta 3, and overall reviews seem to be good. So just combine good reviews with bringing a lot of attention to the game, and a lot of casual people who would have had no earthly clue what Bayonetta 3 was now you've got them curious on the third game. Yeah, just I foresee this one probably doing all right in the sales numbers.
We talked about it last week too. Before this, I thought 3 was going to do less than 1 and 2, but I think now it's probably going to do more than the first two. But there are some people thinking that it's going to sell more than the actual franchise has sold in total, which I do not see. I see
no way.
Yeah, I see a 1.5, 1.6 million when all things are said and done. That's what I see in this. People who are saying, "Oh, it's gonna go like 3.5." No, and yeah, I mean, she not only hurt her cause, she helped the people that she wanted to destroy. So, good job, I guess. All right, thank you for listening to this podcast segment. The Capital Games podcast is done every week, and we post it on all your favorite podcast apps, as well as segments on YouTube. If you want to listen to another segment, you can listen to a new one right there on the screen. We also do a movie podcast called the Capital Games Movie Club. If you'd like, you can go ahead and click on that and see all the movies that we have reviewed from that point. Thank you for listening, and we hope to hear from you soon.